Do you enjoy hemp products? I know I do. From pre-rolls and disposables to CBD bath bombs and creams, Lex Wellness Kentucky is a quality source of hemp-based products. Inspired by nature, lab-tested for purity. Order online today at lexwellnessky.com and use the code Omega Green for 20% off your order. Again, that code is Omega Green for 20% off at lexwellnessky.com. What up, world? Omega Green here, and welcome to The Green Room. How's everybody doing today? I would like to introduce you formally to the first official episode of what I like to call the De-Cypher.
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to do here on the De-Cypher is basically break down songs that I found from people that I know and just kind of figure out what it is that they're about, what they mean to the artist, and what the artist would like people to know about that song. So, our very first guests are Men in Rap. Men in Rap is I Hate Corey and Trill Phil. And before we get started, Trill Phil is actually the homie who produced all of the instrumentals that you hear in the background of this show. So
Hey,
Okay.
that's dope.
put respect on this man's name.
Man, what?
Now.
What?
Right now.
Okay, studio audience.
What up, fellas?
What's good? Hey, what's good, bud?
Not a whole lot. I want to thank you all for coming on and agreeing to do the interview.
Thanks for having us. Yep, appreciate you having us on here, man.
Yeah, most definitely, man. So the song that I picked to be reviewed and kind of broken down by you all is Letter to Myself. I've heard it in person at many shows, and it always kind of stood out to me. It's a bit deeper and it's real. So I would like you all to just kind of tell me where your head's at. Corey, since you're first up, if you want to break down your verse and let people know what you really
Yeah,
think.
sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. So this song is one of the 5 off of the 2 a.m. EP.
Mhm.
And this EP was an idea that I tossed up the trail one time, and I was just thinking, right? And I just got back from like a bachelor trip in Tennessee from a cabin, and I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, man, like what if I was like, man, I wish I could like make music, because like I was secluded, like, you know, not really surrounded by too much, and I was like, man, that'd be a good time to make some songs.
Yeah.
And I had an idea with Trill, so we did like a lock-in at his apartment where we recorded at the time.
Right.
And so we did those 5 songs. Letter to Myself was the last one that we did, actually. And we just tossed some ideas, and within 24 hours had all 5 of those songs, including this. And so, you know, we were bouncing ideas back and forth, and I was like, you know, I might sound kind of cliche, because I feel like some people's definitely done this, but I was like, let's do a song that's like a letter to ourselves about something, whether it's like the past or whether it's, you know, reflecting on our journey so far in the music, just anything. And so, of course, you know, we got to pinning it down. My verse in particular, man, I really just kind of thought about my music journey here, and I thought about where I am now. And, you know, and on top of trying to juggle that with just regular 9-to-5 life, you know, I'm not really that financially off in a good way. So,
Right.
you know, definitely made some sacrifices there. And then, of course, having to be a parent at the same time, it just, you know, it was just things that also inspired me to write about what I write about. And so when I was pinning that verse down, it was basically like a self-reflection, like a timestamp of where I am now, and reflecting on what I've been through before. And then also talking about, you know, things that I plan on doing in the future with it too. And yeah, so that was the inspiration for my verse on there in particular, man. Just a lot of reflection.
Gotcha. So, what would you like the world to know about the song?
Well, so the song is something, honestly, I feel like the average person can resonate with it. But to be honest, I really wrote it from an artist standpoint. And me being an artist, like I've always been motivated by other artists. I feel like that's kind of in a sense why we all pick up a passion for it, is because we hear artists that we like and we
Yeah,
feel like we're connected to them in a sense,
of
and
course.
that draws us close to their music. And so being an artist that's always been inspired by other artists, kind of in a way there, I wrote that just being really real, really vulnerable about some things, and just hoping that if there's anybody else that's doing the same thing, whether it's music or any kind of passion, doesn't even have to be music, but someone that hears that and then they can be like, dang, I feel this guy. Like for example, me talking about being a dad and trying to juggle a 9 to 5 on top of it, and someone could be like, yeah, I feel that. I know exactly what it's like to work a regular 9 to 5 and be a parent and still try to pursue a dream. So that's what I'd like the world to know, though, is that this song in particular is really kind of for a creative, for someone that maybe wants some motivation or just to feel like they're not alone in, the pursuit of chasing their dreams.
So being a co-writer on the song, essentially, what did you get from the song after everything was put together, the song was produced and everything, and then put out there? Listening back to it, what did it give you as a listener now and not as a songwriter?
Right. So honestly, it gives me motivation, but it also keeps me grounded because, I feel like me and Trill all the time, as much work as we put in, I feel like we're constantly elevating in our craft, and, we're getting more eyes and ears on us every day. But every time I listen to that song, I remember the point in time that I was in writing it, and it kind of keeps me grounded to like the organic goal that I've always had with it. So every single time I listen to it, like just from even a listener standpoint, I just, I feel really grounded to reality. And, I feel like things like that helps me keep in touch with it as I'm, moving along, and whether it's my life or the artist journey, either or.
Yeah, absolutely. Phil, you there?
Yo,
Hey,
I'm
sweet.
here.
Awesome. All right. Now, your verse, man. What is your verse about?
So, quick context, because it's vastly different from Corey's, but that's what makes the Minute Rap, is we have a lot of different perspectives, different walks of life, and it's an interesting contrast when you get us together.
It went so well together too.
So,
Yeah.
It did.
I appreciate that.
It did. Really did.
Corey came up with this idea because he like he said, his was about motivation, what he would have said to his younger self and all that, and I thought that was great because I was like, I got a lot of stuff I'd say to the younger me.
Yeah.
So I went through all types of things as when I was young, like made a lot of wrong turns, influenced in the wrong direction. So the first half of my verse, I discussed some, traumas I went through. There's a trail, you remember you was young, out on Freeland Drive. That's this place down in Georgia.
Yeah.
It's in southern end Atlanta, but a lot of violence and drugs and stuff like that. And as a youngin', I was influenced by that. So I wanted to be a trapper, right?
Right.
I believed that I was going to be Scarface when I was like 12, right? And I talk about that, discuss that a little bit. And as I go on, I'm, hyping myself up like, yeah, you're going to make all this money. $1,000 dailies ain't no minimum wage. And
Right.
then in the second half, the second 8 bars, I talk about how that was all a lie. I talk about the consequences.
Nice.
Talk about getting to pay the pittance, never going back where you living. You make it out, it didn't kill you, made you strong. I use it as my power, my path on every song. I often resort to talking about things that I've conquered, right?
Right.
I haven't been in any type of trouble, just been focusing on my job and my music for the past 10 years now, which a lot of people from where I'm from that walk the path that I walked, they either dead or doing life. So I view it as I like to send that message out. A lot of people rap about stuff that I rap about, but they usually glorify it. They usually talk about it like it's something to aspire towards.
Yeah.
I use it more as like an ominous warning. And the Letter to Myself track specifically, it's basically just a message that I would give to myself when I was young. Like, this is all a lie. Don't believe what you're seeing around you. You got bigger and better things that you can aspire to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah, man. So,
Yeah.
what would you say that the song means to you personally?
It means a lot to me. It's one of my favorite songs that me and Corey have ever concocted. It might not be our most popular song, but it's definitely one of my favorites. It's when I hear it, it's just like this means something. This is something that I bet a lot of people can relate to. That they just, it's not necessarily, doing some air quotes here, cool to talk like that, right? But
Yeah.
it's something that's important that should be talked about more, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how about you, Corey?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that
Oh, my
question?
bad.
Was it? Okay, I wasn't sure if that was similar to the one I answered before. I was just trying to make sure I said the right thing.
Yeah, it
for
was
you.
very similar to
Yeah.
like what it
Yeah.
means to you. It's about the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Oh yeah. So yeah, just basically like Troy was saying, man, it's very real, very in depth. It's not your, swaggy or, brag rap, which I mean, me and Troll's definitely done a handful of that, right? And I mean, rightfully so,
Gotcha.
no cockiness, all confidence, though. I'm very confident in mine and Troll's abilities as a lyricist and artist, and his ability as a producer, engineer, and then obviously our unique sound that we put together. I feel like there's, reasons why it's, why we're growing. It's because it's a good product. But with all that being said, it's still real. It's not the swaggy stuff. Like, it doesn't feel like necessarily I'm having to prove anything on that. Like, I don't feel like I have to compete on that song. Didn't feel like I had to try and prove anything to anybody. The only thing I was doing is just basically reminding everybody, like, hey, like, no matter where I get at in this artistry, I'm still basically coming from the same place that everyone else is at. And it's okay to be at that point. That's how we all are as artists. And I feel like a lot of people behind the scenes don't really, that doesn't do music or any type of hobby that involves, creating, they kind of don't understand the process and really how long it honestly, the grind takes for it,
Yeah.
and so like that
Facts.
keeps me reminded about how hard it really is to try and keep pushing, man. I mean, me and Trill still got ways to go.
Mhm.
Even with everything that we've been doing, man, we still got ways to go. So that song's a constant reminder of like where I'm at and where we've been. And if we make it way further than whatever, wherever we're at now, that song is still like I said earlier, like a kind of like a timestamp, man. It just keeps me grounded. And I'm always like, yeah, these are my roots. This is where me and Trills come from. I said it in my verse too. I said, it was only me and Trill grinding, because like I've worked with a bunch of other artists and stuff, and and I'm very appreciative of everybody I've worked with. Omega, obviously, I've worked with you, and we created a fucking banger of a song. Dude, Chupacabra is one of the most streamed songs off that album. Banger song.
To this day.
But not even necessarily about
Yeah.
artists. It was just more or less right, exactly. And it's not even like just the artist. Mainly, what it is for me though is like me and Trill, dude, like it's just been like a day one thing. Honestly, dude, like because I've always had a passion for it. I started writing raps, was very fucking bad at it, right? Like anybody in the right mind would have told me to never do it again. But I kept trying and trying, kept giving it up. And it was one of those love-hate things where I pick it up for a while and then I just kept losing confidence because I didn't have the resources and the sound I wanted at the time. So I kept experimenting, kept giving up on it. And then damn near what is it, Trill, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that?
About two.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah, because it was summer 2023, man. Yeah, and then Trill hit me up just to collaborate, and I hadn't heard from Trill in a few years. And I was like, hell yeah. And, Trill does his own engineering and stuff, so I was excited to have like a professionally mixed vocal, And so we hopped on Atomic, and that song we had fun with, and Trill was like, well, let's make another. So we made another. And then from there, he was like complimenting like how well I could rap. And I was like, well, that's a breath of fresh air to hear because I wasn't confident myself at the time. And then so we decided to work on a duo project, which was the self-titled Men and Rap album. And then the rest is history from there. But basically, man, like that was a long explanation. My apologies.
No.
you're
It's
good.
your,
No,
it's
you're
your
good.
time.
Yeah, it's your time. Do what you do.
So I have a
I'm trying to give you all the sauce, but
So I have a little
long
bit
story
of a,
short, man. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a little bit of a deeper question for whoever wants to answer. me being a dance choreographer, I love music and I love the feeling the music gives me. And music influences me in my daily life and just when I'm creating choreography and on stage. So my question to you guys is, and I'll ask it to Trill first. What influence do you hope that your music has over people, and what message are you trying to give with that influence?
That's a really, really good question, and it's one I'm
Really
glad
good
you asked.
Mhm.
Because that varies for me. Whenever I'm creating music, like I'm a producer, rapper, trying my hand at singing. I can't dance for the lips, but I try.
It's all that matters.
You know, I start from dead silence, right?
Mhm.
Because I got to make the beat. So I'm hearing nothing, and I try to base what I'm about to produce on a feeling, right? Am I feeling angry right now? Am I feeling sad, happy, whatever emotion it is? And sometimes it's just kind of indifference. And I'm like, well, what mood am I trying to create? And I'll produce a beat. And then I'm like, well, then the mood changes as I produce it. You know, I start to feel different while I'm making it.
Mm.
And I try to think of what it reminds me of,
Mm-hmm.
what goes through my head when I'm hearing it. If it's just a bunch of BS, right? Or if it's something that I can put a message behind.
Mm.
And then I get to writing and go from there. And the message I try to put in my raps is, I hate to sound cliche, but I make what I like to call like anti-trap music. It sounds like trap music, but
But it's not.
I never say it was great. I always talk about the consequences.
Mhm.
And just to be all the way authentic, I paid very dearly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lost a lot of time.
Mm.
Corey said he hadn't heard from me in a while because I was away.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just put
Quote
it like
unquote
that.
away. Yes, sir. We get it.
Yeah. I was. I got in a lot of trouble for my totally legitimate pharmaceutical business. So, with that being
Yeah.
said, you know, I talk a lot. So much rap today is trapping, packing the pistol, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I did a lot of that. I'm not just talking about it. And there was consequences. And I never hear anybody speak on the consequences.
Mm.
It's always somebody else's fault that these consequences happened if they're ever mentioned.
Mm.
Yeah.
I put a lot of accountability and responsibility behind these consequences when I rap about them.
That's what's up.
It's not the system did this to me or nothing like this. It's my actions put me in the positions I was in. And I hope that message, although it's very explicit, right, could reach somebody who might be on the fence about these decisions. And they might hear it and be like, well, I don't want to be like that guy. You know, that's basically it.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just having fun with it, right? Sometimes I'm just like, you know, just to keep it on topic of this specific song, this one was deep and had that message, but there's some other songs we got where we're just feeling a vibe.
Oh, yeah. Y'all got a
rapping
lot of
about
bangers,
things
man.
that have went on. Yeah, like sometimes it's just for fun, right? Like there isn't necessarily a deeper meaning to it other than me and Corey got some bars and wanna let it out on the mic, and the music itself is the therapy in that
Facts.
specific
Yeah.
Facts.
Mhm.
instant. Not necessarily there's some deeper meaning to it. It's
Okay.
just the making it was the journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Word.
Same question
No.
to
Yeah.
Corey.
Corey.
Yeah.
All right, man. So for me, man, the message I really want people that listen to my music to obtain is a lot of inspiration for what I write and talk about. You know, kind of similar to Trill. Him and I both don't come from a good background or good neighborhoods, living situations, etc. And my thing is, right, like I never got thrown in the pen by any means, but I was definitely associated and hung out with a lot of people that did. I mean, fucking Trill, for example. I've known Trill
Yeah.
since I met Trill at my first ever job, man. I was a junior in high school, and we both worked at Dairy Queen, and he was pretty rough off then. And I was used to hanging with people like that. So me and Trill clicked. I was just like, fuck yeah, this guy's cool. And but anyways, man, so you know, I come from a struggle background. My brother of 4, and you know, my father was an abusive alcoholic, didn't really work. My mom, she wasn't allowed to have a job, not even really go out in public, and constantly getting the shit beat out of her. So I mean, and we were all crammed up in like a 2-bedroom apartment at my grandma's, right? That was paid for by Section 8, food stamps, like all the cliche ghetto things you could think of. Like that was my background, right?
Same.
And you could hear it in like my exactly, and you could hear it in my tone, my vernacular, the way I carried myself. And you know, like some of the environment, I was partially a product of my environment, right? Like I didn't even know how the real world worked when it came to like money and shit, man. I was just so used to fucking having people that were bums, you know. And so, you know, once I got out in the real world, man, like the music was like a way to kind of escape that. But I mean, it was also fun, you know. It was just a fun thing I enjoyed doing.
I can't even talk.
But the message, man, really is just like, I'm really just yeah, exactly, man. I've you know, my vernacular, my slang, everything's kind of changed over time. I mean, you can kind of hear it in my music. It, you know, it still comes out sometimes, but I have more of like a professional manner I can speak in. And, you know, I basically had to raise myself as a man. And so I talk about that in my music. I talk about the struggle coming from the ghetto, and the message basically I'm trying to get at, right, is also I put a lot of pressure on myself because I want to succeed doing this, because I don't just want to talk about, hey, you can make it from the ghetto and the struggle and become something that, you know, is worth a shit, and then not become something worth a shit. So that keeps me constantly pushing.
Dare to be great. Dare to be great.
Exactly, man. Like, I mean, it sounds like a cliche Cinderella type story thing, but like, it's just basically like, I want to be that guy that can be a motivator for people that absolutely have no hope. Because that's how I was as a kid, man. I mean, I had no self-esteem, very insecure, came from, you know, the poorest almost fucking background you could possibly imagine. Went homeless a couple times for just little stretches until family let us stay for a bit and stuff, man. So, you know, stuff like that, man, at a young age, like this trauma you get from it, on top of seeing my mom almost get killed a couple times by the hands of the guy that's supposed to be my father. Like, it's just, man, it was just rough, right? And so I literally had zero hope, but music was always an escape for me. It was that, it was basketball. And so I played basketball, and then I started picking up music one time as a hobby. I was chilling. I remember exactly the first time I ever freestyled. I was 16, I had my buddy Nate over, and we was in the apartment, and we had YouTube playing. That Bobby Shmurda song came out. I can't say the full name of the song, but that song came out. And so we was banging to that for a bit, and I was like, dang, that's a hot beat, you know. And then I was like, I looked at the instrumental, we just started joking, rapping, and something just kind of clicked. I was like, all right, this is fun. And then obviously, you know, fast forward to today, it became something that I'm very serious about. So, and I take it serious, and I try to present that like in every aspect, not even just the music, but like just myself, how I present myself around others. And I mean, I'm not a perfect human being, but like, you know, I want to constantly be like an image of someone that's like, this dude came from a very fucked up background, and look where he's at today. He was not a product of his environment. That's basically the message I want to get across.
Right.
And, you know, throughout my music, as far as meaningful messages go, I mean, I like to, you know, flaunt that I can rap and I have some bars, right? But, you know, whenever it comes to the actual tried and true topic, basically, I just want people to be able to use me as like motivation to be like, all right, like, you know, this guy wasn't a product of his environment. He went through some shit. So if I'm going through this and he can do that, then I can too.
Yeah. You want to find a way to give people hope.
Yeah. So let me say this. I don't really have a question.
And I said that on that Do the Most hook.
I don't really have a question, but we Letter to Myself, we got an opportunity to listen to that before you all came on. And that was actually the question that I had, because I could relate to it when I was listening to it. And I'm like, you know, did they really go through this? Or is this just something that they, like you say, just something for fun that was cliche? You know, because authenticity, as you all were speaking about earlier, I think that's important. And I think that the fact that you can actually come on here and let the people know that that's what you're rapping about is really you all. It's really you all. It's not something that you all sitting around that y'all watched on TV and said, you know what, let's do this and do this, because they can relate to that, you know. And so to me, authenticity will always trump cliche. You know, as long as the people know that who you are is who you are, you know, you keep doing that, because after a while, they'll be able to decipher the difference between when you're just throwing something together just for fun, and because you don't want the game to always be serious. It doesn't always have to be that. And so, big ups to Letter to Myself, because the fact that you all were open enough to talk about it, and say, this is what we went through, and this is really us. I think that's important. So don't ever lose that. Don't ever lose that. That's all I have to say.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's what we do here on the De-Cypher. Take something of substance, song that I found pretty interesting, and just kind of break down, analyze it, see what it means.
Yeah.
Within and without. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, gentlemen. But I want to thank you all again for calling in, giving us your time.
Yes,
for today.
thank y'all so much.
Yeah,
appreciate
It's
y'all.
amazing to have you.
Before we
Appreciate y'all, for real.
before we
Thank
let y'all go, let the people know how they can connect with you through social media. Shout it out.
Right on. So you can find me on Instagram at TrillField859. You can find me on Facebook by my government name, Kendrick Tarter. And Men in Rap is on all streaming platforms. Trill Field and I Hate Corey. I Hate Corey is IH8, the number.
Okay.
Corey. You can find us everywhere. And Corey, you want to tell them yours?
Yeah. Well, so other than what you said, because you basically nailed it, my Instagram is just I Hate Corey, just IH8 COREY. And like Trill said, man, Men in Rap's on all streaming platforms. From all the new releases, I guess I'll clarify this. All of our newer releases since Keep It Moving, it's going to be under the title Men in Rap, because we're under a new DSP and under Rago Clan management. So everything's being handled differently now.
Shout
But
out
if you
Rago
want to
Clan.
find anything else shout out Rago Clan, man. And if you want to find like the 99% of our catalog other than Keep It Moving that is out there, it is. You just got to search up either Trill Phil or I Hate Corey, and either one will link you to both of it. And all the projects are going to say Trill Phil and I Hate Corey under them.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter which name you look up, it can direct you there.
Yeah, and we're going to make sure that this gets, we post this as well, so the people will be able to see it whenever we upload it to our channel. So we're going to take care of you, man, for the time that you allowed us to spend with you.
And listeners, tap in. Let us know if you had any questions. Put your questions in the comments, and we'll give them back to the guys, and we'll follow up with them on them. So, yeah.
Like and subscribe, people.
Absolutely.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, remember everybody.
Like and subscribe.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, this has been the debut episode of Green Room De-Cypher Edition.
Yes.
Thank everybody for listening, and we will see you later.
Peace out.
Deuces.
Peace.
Peace.